What's going on, guys? Orange Forum coming at you with another video. It's a late one, sorry about that, but this is the Detroit Lions training camp is here. Day one observations. I give credit where credit is due, and thanks to the Detroit Lions beat writers, guys like John Macaron, Tim Twentyman, Eric Schlitt, Jeremy Reisman, Jeff Risden, Colton Pouncey, Justin Rogers, Ben Raven, Dave Burkett, all those guys out there. I take their stuff and I give it to you guys, and I go through it and I give you my opinion. But those guys do all the dirty work, and I'm here just to let you guys know that these guys are the real deal, and they get the job done. Now, like I said, Lions football is here. The NFL's back. We are in full swing now. Training camp has begun. First day for Detroit Lions. We're opened up for business. We're looking at camp battles. We're looking at ups and downs of camps. We're looking at coaches on what they're doing. They got some new faces in there, not just players. New coaches, new OCs, new DC. It's all kind of jumbled up, and now we're in the swing of things. The progressions, the declining. We don't want to see any of those guys, but all of it. Let's friggin' go. Today's was an unpadded practice. They got the helmets on there, jerseys, shorts. They're doing their thing out there. No hitting. No, it's not supposed to be anyways. But it's kind of hard to gauge some positions, especially the offensive and defensive line. But we get a little gist of things going on right now. So there's some notes. Hutch and Davenport out there look like they're the 1 and the 2. Obviously, right now, no reports of anybody coming in just yet. Levi and Uzurike being out for the year, being a pretty big depth piece. For this organization, got some starts last year, 10 to be exact, the first 10 of his career in 4 years, due to some injuries. Played better, but now he's out for the season, and he's probably done as a Detroit Lion. Hopefully, you can move on to a next team and have some success, as long as it's not the Packers, Bears, or the Vikings. So we'll see there. But it looks like Davenport and Hutch are your 1 and 2. Hutch being the number 1, Davenport being the number 2. So no signings of anybody yet. Something could happen along the line. They did bring in some new guys right now, but no real news on those guys. There was like 2 corners and 2 running backs. I talked about it in my last video. So nothing. And Hutch was moving around pretty well. There's some video out there, some reels, that Detroit Lions put out, and it looked like Hutch was moving around pretty decently. Didn't look like he was limping around. A lot of people like to say he's limping. He doesn't look explosive. He's this, he's that. Hutch has always had a funny walk, man. He's always had a really funny walk. You watch some of his old videos as a Lion, as a rookie, second year, third year, whatever you want to look at, man. He walks on his tiptoes. He kind of walks on his tippy toes, and he just walks a little different, like something's going on there. Like he's got some problems. So he's fine. It doesn't look like he's running. He wouldn't be practicing if he wasn't 110%. He just wouldn't be. This organization would be stupid if he got hurt and all of a sudden they came out and goes, well, he wasn't really ready. We kind of pushed him too much. If that happens, then that's terrible, and that's very stupid. But it seems like he's moving around well. Again, not padded. It's an unpadded practice, so we'll get a little more when they start hitting and stuff like that. When they start doing other team drill, when it's like other teams come in and they start doing those kind of scrimmages. So we'll see what happens. But it looked good so far. Not a lot of news on Hutch though. Not a lot. The O-line, it's really big. Dan Campbell has made this an issue. He has come out and said that they asked him a question. His first thing was, I'm keeping an eye on this O-line. They got to get a gel going. They got to get a mesh going. Obviously, all-pro center. Frank Ragnow gone. They lost Zeitler to the Tennessee Titans last year. He moved on for a 1-year deal. I think he went home. I think that's where he's from. Not 100% on that as well, but they did lose 2 really good players. Ragnow obviously to retirement, and Zeitler moving on in free agency. So they're keeping an eye on that. There's lots of shuffling going on. Like I said, Ragnow and Zeitler gone. The first team, it was Dan Skipper, because there are some guys that are out. We talked about this. Taylor Decker's out with a shoulder cleanup, should be back after the Hall of Fame game. Makai Wingo. Obviously, Lee McNeil won't be ready for a month or 2. Pascal's a little bit banged up right now. Levi Risque done for the year. Malcolm Rodriguez is still rehabbing. They got some other guys out there too that are banged up, especially on the defense. So The offensive line was Dan Skipper at left tackle. He is the reserve. He's been the reserve for the last couple of years, few years, whatever. Christian Mahogany, second-year guy to Boston College at left guard. The rookie, Tate Radlich at center, who was taking all center reps. I don't think he even went to guard at all. I could be wrong on that one, but from the reports I read, it seemed like he didn't even move over there. And then Graham Glasgow was at right guard, where he's probably a little bit better than he is at left guard. Okay? Right guard, and Penei Sewell, the all-pro, at right tackle. Now, Glasgow did take some center one snaps with the first team. So whenever Glasgow came in, there was no reports of Ratledge going anywhere else. So either they're really entrenched him as the first center, or they're just really trying to get him focused in on center first before they start moving him around. I think it's the latter. I think it's B. I think they're just going to keep him entrenched at center for a bit, just to get him, just to get him focused. Because it's not just a physical game, guys. It's mental, too. So I think it's a good idea to keep him there right now and just have him learn some stuff. It's like riding a bike. The same things over and over again as a center would do. Okay? He does have guard ability. He was obviously only a right guard in college, and hopefully they move him around a little bit, too. But let's get him acclimated to center, which is fine. And then they did some fun drills as well. I watched this on a reel, actually. It was a real video. 5 defenders in the middle of the field doing up downs. Once the whistle blew, they had to sprint towards the sideline where 4 footballs were placed, spaced out kind of. The one player who was last and who didn't get a football in his hands had to do more up downs. So, some fun drills, some competition going on between the guys, getting to know each other too, and day one. Laporta looking strong in year 3. Big completion over the middle from quarterback Jared Goff. There's really nice connection so far early on. Day one guys for Laporta, St. Brown, and all those guys. And that was really about it. St. Brown and Laporta looked like were the go-to guys early, and Tim Patrick made a couple nice catches too, which I'm talking about right now. So big catch, wide receiver Tim Patrick, who went up and over and took the ball away from cornerback Amik Robertson. Amik Robertson couldn't get up. The size difference is very noticeable here. Patrick is 6'5", 210. And Robertson is 5'9", 183 pounds. So it was a really nice throw. Patrick got his hands on the ball, scooped it in. Nice play. Tyleik Williams, the rookie out of Ohio State, defensive tackle, getting some defensive tackle 1 snaps with the first team defense right away, immediately. He was paired with a DJ Reader at nose tackle. This will be interesting coming out too, because there's other guys that are in the mix here, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, because when I write all this stuff down, guys, I kind of jumble it up. So if I kind of make another, if I repeat myself, I'm not doing it usually on purpose. I've just kind of jumbled up all the info that I gather and throw it all together. So I might be talking about this, in which I think I did a little bit later on. The quarterback 2 battle is going on. Goff's obviously the number 1. Kyle Allen on this day was number 2, and then Hendon Hooker was the number 3. So that's going to change every single day, in my opinion. I don't expect Kyle Allen just to steal the number 2 job, and I don't expect Hooker to be handed the number 2 job, just because he's been here for the last 2-3 years. So this is going to be something that's going on that we're going to hear about every day. Tomorrow could be Hooker for the number 2. So probably a rotation, like I said, between Allen and Hooker day to day. This is an important battle. It's not the biggest battle out there, but it's a battle between the 2 quarterbacks. Goff goes down, we're looking at one of these guys. It's just that simple. So, there's not a lot you can do when your quarterback 1 goes down, though. But you want to have a pretty decent quarterback 2 to come in and at least get you some games before your QB1 can come back in the mix. So, this is what we got. We got Kyle Allen, who's been around for a little bit, 7-8 years. He's got like 19 starts. He's got 26 touchdowns, like 21 picks. And Hendon Hooker has 0 experience. Drafted him hurt. Didn't do nothing year 1, year 2, year 3 now. They're trying to get this guy going. They want him to, I think, win this spot. That's my opinion. There's a lot of guys out there. You'll hear guys on Woodward Sports saying that Hendon Hooker is already gone. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. I don't know. But this is probably the best competition that they've had in a while. And I talk and I come back to this too as well. So when I get to it, I'll probably talk about it. I'm pretty sure I wrote some stuff down. Now, just remember that Hooker is the better athlete. He's probably got the stronger arm, but Allen did look good under pressure. He looked good in the pocket, eyes up. He has some nice throws. Hooker was kind of up and down with his throws apparently as well, but made some really beautiful throws. So he's kind of doing what he always does. Makes some kind of head scratching throws, and then he comes out the next throw and throws a dot. So it's just you got to take it for what it is, and hopefully it's for the better, right? And then the injuries. Talk about the injuries here. In practice injuries, cornerback and Enos Rakestraw, the second-year corner out of Mizzou. He did leave early with a chest injury. It got everybody a little bit. It got their ears perked up a little bit, and I guess him and a wide receiver unknown. They don't know who the wide receiver was. It might have been Tim Patrick. Don't even quote me on that. I could be 100% wrong because Rakestraw is he's a second or third string guy, probably taking some first string reps though. But I don't know who the wide receiver was. I know I probably should have said that. So I guess they ran into each other. Rakestraw went down for a bit, and he got walked off the field. He walked off on his own, and they had to go into that locker room, and everybody was all like, "Oh no, here we go again." But apparently he came back. I thought this news was going to be coming out tomorrow, but apparently he came back and it was a chest. He didn't come back in practice, but it came back as a report that it was a chest contusion, so minor. So thank God it wasn't like a rib, it wasn't a collarbone, it wasn't nothing worse than that. It was a chest contusion. He'll probably miss the next maybe day or so. Who knows? Let him heal up. He'll be back, I think, before next week ends the practice. It's like a 4 or 5 day practice, and then they get a rest, and then I think the fans can come in. So he should be ready in the next few days, hopefully. So now the PUP and the NFI list. You guys know what that list is. Means PUP physically unable to perform, and then NFI non-football injury list. So there's guys on this. Left tackle Taylor Decker is on the PUP list. He should be back a little bit. Like I said, defensive tackle Lee McNeil, linebacker Malcolm Rodriguez, who's rehabbed Cleve Dorsey, guard Miles Frazier, and I said most of these guys. Cornerback Stanley Thomas Oliver, linebacker Anthony Pittman. Pittman does expect to practice tomorrow, Monday. So those guys are like that, and I think Wingo might be on the NFI list as well too. I don't know, or did he was hurt last year. So some of these guys are on NFI. I don't really know who is. Maybe Anthony Pittman. So NFI list, you guys know non-football injury, it means they didn't get hurt under the Lions' care, or they're sick, or they got some type of illness. So don't know who's really on that NFI list. I should have wrote that down. I didn't. Sometimes I'm an amateur, but that's okay. I am an amateur. So what the hell am I talking about? I am an amateur. I'm not some professional. Snap out of it. But yeah, so the guys that are NFI list, they can come off. The guys on the PUP list that were put on the PUP list before camp started, all these guys can come off the PUP list during camp. Now if it's a whole different story when the season starts. You got a PUP list, you got to miss four games. Obviously McNeil is coming back later, and obviously Rodriguez is coming back later. Those guys are behind. Those guys are coming a little bit later down the road. So whoever was on that NFI list, I don't really know. I'm just guessing. One of them might have been Pittman. So who knows, man, because he expects to practice tomorrow. So I'm assuming that he wasn't feeling all that well. He was working on the sideline. And then Alex Anzalone's out. You guys know Anzalone's out. So there's rumors, all kinds about that. It's money. It's this. He's tweaked something. Apparently he crushed. Those are the exact words. He crushed the conditioning test. Everybody passed the conditioning test, by the way. I believe this is the first time in the last few years that I think it's gone smooth like that. Not that it's been bad, but it's just, there was no redo. There's no do-overs. Everybody crushed, even Anzalone. He did exceptional well. So Campbell doesn't think it's a contract issue, but you can't tell me that Campbell doesn't know what's going on. The Lions are being zipped up for this for some odd reason. They're not really coming out and saying what's going on. They're not saying he's hurt. They're not saying it's money. They're not saying it's this. We got a bunch of guys like myself, fans, bunch of analysts, that you know, a lot of professional guys out there that are making speculations, saying it's this, it's that. I don't think anybody really truly knows what's going on. To me, it smells like a contract issue. I just don't know why they would be so quiet on it if he was hurt. Like, is he really hurt? He obviously can't be if he's running conditioning drills, doing the beep test. You know what I mean? So everybody passed. Anzalone crushed it, killed it. So, no, he's out, but he's maybe coming back soon. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. And then more O-line talk. See, coming back. Christian Mahogany buried, I guess, linebacker Derek Barnes on a pulling play. And his quote was pretty cool. It's like, Derek's a cool dude, a good dude. I didn't mean to do that to him. LOL. You know what I mean? So, you know, Mahogany out there, it's his first camp. Last year he didn't get to do it because he was sick. He was on, I believe he was on the NFI list forever. Because he had some type of illness. What did he have again? Oh, he had an illness. I can't remember. But he had a really bad illness that he couldn't come back from for a while, and he missed all training camp, missed like rookie. I think he might have been there for the rookies, might have been there at OTAs, maybe. But he was sick. He was really sick. Starts with an M. Right? No, I don't know. It's not a good one. Maybe it'll come back to me. It'll pop up and I'll say it. But yeah, he was out. He missed it. So he said he was frothing at the mouth. He was excited. It's his first NFL camp. He's raring to go, and he's pretty much entrenched as our left guard. He had a couple starts last year. I think it was a total of only like 75 snaps, 2-3 starts, and he played exceptionally well. Now, he's young. It's a small window, but I think he's the guy at left guard. But he played mostly right guard at Boston College. Just remember that. But he's fitting nicely at left guard. So, and then the second team O-line, and then third team mixed in as well. Left tackle was Giovanni Manu. Third team was Mason Miller, UDFA rookie that they brought in to keep an eye on Mason Miller. Left guard, Matane Mutai, who got hurt last year, who's having a good camp before he went down. Center has been Kingsley Agwakin, the Florida product that they brought in last year, I believe, who's a good player, and they gave a lot of money to as a UDFA last year. And Michael Neese was the third team center. And then right guard was Coyote Iwosika, and then Tristan Colon, the guy that they kind of brought in from Arizona Cardinals as a free agent, and brought him over. They were at right tackle. No, Tristan Colon was at right tackle. Sorry. Right? No, sorry. Coyote Iwosika and Tristan Colon were at right guard. Jamarco Jones and Colby Sorsdal were at right tackle. My writing's terrible. So that was pretty good there. Second, third team guys. You know, there's a couple guys in there you might want to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on Kingsley Agwakin, in my opinion. Maybe Mason Miller. I liked him in college. Went to a smaller school. Nobody really else I'm too high on. Mutai could be a guy. You know, they got some guys. Cologne, maybe. Jamarco Jones was taking significant snaps over Colby Sorsdal, who was the right tackle. Colby Sorsdal could be on his way out, guys. I think this is a guy that's going to have a tough time. He's on the bubble. He's got one foot out the door already. And it kind of sucks for him because I did like him coming out of college. Miller actually played some guard too as well, so he's versatile. Like I said, keep an eye out. Mutai and Iwosika played both left guard and right guard. Cologne did that as well. And Agwakin took most of the second team reps at center. Another guy I said keep an eye on. Neese was the backup center last year. He backed up Ragnow last year. Agwakin was on the practice squad, but he looked really solid. He's been looking solid. It's early, it's day one, but it looks like they're acclimating him to that second team. It's going to be a competition. So that's a good look. I like that. You can't have too many offensive linemen, guys. When guys go down, it's a nightmare. Now some more notes. Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown, check. Goff to Laporta, check. More deep routes were run by the offense in years past. Morton likes to throw the football again, day one. But Morton does have a past history of throwing more than he likes to run. Okay, now, that was when he was with the Jets. If you go look at all that news, do a little Google search, John Morton with the New York Jets, it didn't pan out well there. He didn't have very good talent there as well. I think his quarterback was Josh McCown. His best receiver was like Robbie Anderson. Belial Powell was his running back. He had I don't remember even the tight end he had. But if you look at all those guys, they had their best careers under John Morton. And I'm not saying John Morton's some genius, even though Sam Laporta called him a genius this week. And then Khalif Raymond said that he just wants everybody in Cleveland. Everyone has some good things to say about John Morton. Of course, it's the new coach. They're not going to come out and rip him apart. It's all brand new, but he's getting a lot of respect. He's been around for years, guys. He's been around for years. He's been an assistant. He's been this. He's been that. He's been an OC once. Did not pan out as a New York Jet. The Jets were absolutely freaking terrible at that point. They've been bad, I think, pretty much my whole life. I don't remember the Jets ever being good. Maybe a little bit when they had when they had that really good defense a few years back with Darrelle Revis. They were making the playoffs stuff a couple times, but all in all, they've been a pretty bad organization from what I can remember. You know what I mean? I'm a Giants fan too, so I don't really pay attention much to the Jets, but they weren't very good with John Morton there, and Morton got fired. He got fired from there. He got thrown under the bus. I think a little bit. He's argued with coaches, apparently not getting along with certain players in the locker room. He was throwing the ball too much. You're probably down by 20 at the time, so he's probably just airing it out. But who knows? I don't know the full story to it, but it wasn't a good time as a New York Jet for John Morton. He's our new OC, and he's got all the toys and the trinkets that he's never seen ever before. His quote too: "I've never seen anything like this. I've never walked into a room. All my years of experience as a coach, I've never seen this much talent in one room, offensively." And that's a guy that's been around the block for a long, long time. There's that. And it was cool matchups to watch too, I guess. It was early, but not really too many reports about it. Cornerback Terry Arnold versus Jameson Williams. Cornerback DJ Reed versus Tim Patrick. Safety Brian Banch versus tight end Sam Laporta. Cornerback Amik Robertson versus Amon-Ra St. Brown. They did have some reports though. St. Brown did line up versus DJ Reed, and a few times though St. Brown dusted him more than once. Again, I guess he made him look silly. This is what Amon-Ra St. Brown does, and leaving Reed very frustrated. Not being able to cover him. So hey, we'll see what happens tomorrow when they got round 2 going on. Now some new things too. 2 running back sets. Ben Johnson never did this. So Montgomery came out and goes, "It's about time. It's great." He goes, "I can't wait to have us both out there at once. Who are you going to focus on? You're going to have to focus on one of us, and it's going to keep defenses guessing." No bash on Ben Johnson. No bash from David Montgomery. He was just kind of going, it's about time, man. He's like, have 2 of us out there. And I think a lot of us fans called that last year. I never really understood why Ben Johnson never put 2 guys out, 2 running backs of their caliber out there at the same time. I know they like to have wide receivers and 2 tight ends. You like to go 2 tight end sets. You like to one the block, one the run routes. So that's probably one of the reasons, But you gotta put some 2 running back sets in there, and we're gonna see some of that this year, and I can't wait for it. No bash on Ben Johnson. He was phenomenal here. I just don't wish him any success as a Bear. Beat it, Ben Johnson. Beat it. Now, defensive lineman Pat O'Connor, kind of taking Levi Onwuzurike's 4-eye position role on the D-line. That's where a player aligns on the inside shoulder of an offensive tackle. Leaving that Sam linebacker, it kind of, they do this when the Sam linebacker role comes into play. The Sam linebacker role can kind of play on the outside. So he's kind of assumed that 4-eye role. Okay, now Levi's gone. Levi was doing this. Now, only when they deploy the Sam linebacker role, like I said. The Sam linebacker has many responsibilities in this Detroit defense. The run, the pass, calling out schemes, making adjustments. They're the guys that have, I think, a little more responsibilities than a lot of players on the defense. They're not just there to stop the run or there to cover. They have to do kind of jack of all trades. That's what that Sam linebacker role is in this Lions defense. As acclimated from Aaron Glenn, and I think Kelvin Shepard is kind of keeping that same kind of thing going on. So that's okay. And Derek Barnes usually plays that Sam role. and I think Trevor Nowoski too. We'll talk about that too. I'm pretty sure it's in there too as well. So they did this with players last year like Davenport and Rizurike, Pascal and Wingo. A lot of those guys went down last year. You know, and Rizurike out for the year. Pascal's on the NFI, so he's got some type of illness. So, and Wingo on the pup. Okay, so hey, and then the Lions turned to O'Connor. They turned to O'Connor because all these guys are out. So they turned to O'Connor. O'Connor played mostly nose tackle last year, with a little bit playing on the outside, playing kind of moving around a little bit, but he was mostly a nose tackle. If you guys didn't know that. Now that the new D-line coach, Casey Rogers, is in town, guess who he coached before? This is where I talk about familiarity, guys. This is where familiarity comes into play, and it's huge in sports. It's absolutely humongous in sports. Casey Rogers comes to town. Guess who he coached? Pat O'Connor. I think they won a ring together. Pretty sure they won a ring together. So O'Connor was his 4-eye back in Tampa Bay. You know, he was never like a crazy starter or this great player, but he was a role player. He was a very good role player, O'Connor, and he's a guy that will rotate. He will rotate. He will go up and down the line. And now he's kind of taken on a new role in this defense. So good for him. He's a valuable player. I'm not saying this guy is lights out good. He's just been kind of like a guy that's been there. He does his job. He's not great. He's not bad. He's not kind of in between. You know what I mean? But he's obviously a very smart defensive lineman. And guys like Casey Rogers notices that. And then he's back in Detroit. Familiarity. Pat O'Connor. Hey, man, you're my new 4-eye for a bit. Things could change. Pascal coming back. Wingo coming back. You know, things could change. You know, things could change. But right now it's Pat O'Connor. So he did it with him in Tampa, including the 4-eye. So, and then Zach Cunningham, another new linebacker. No Anzalone, no problem, right? Well, let's not get too carried away. But Cunningham played the will in the 3 linebacker sets. When it was 2 linebacker sets, it was mainly Barnes and Campbell. But Cunningham did play in the 3 linebacker sets at the will position. And then second team, Cunningham was at the Mike. So he was the second Mike, Campbell being the first Mike. Cunningham playing Mike 2 in that second team. Grant Stewart, another new linebacker coming from the Colts, was at the will, and Trevor Nowoski was at the Sam. So, you know, it's a different look on the second team, different types of styles. And it looks like Cunningham has taken over that kind of linebacker 4 duty. So what that means, linebacker 4, usually the first linebacker off the sidelines into the game. That's what that is, because our starters were always Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, and Alex Anzalone. And then your 4th linebacker coming off the sidelines was Malcolm Rodriguez. So now that Rodriguez is rehabbing, coming back sooner or later, whenever he's going to be coming back, a little bit later it sounds like, Zach Cunningham, as looks like he's taken over so far. It's early, day 1, that linebacker 4 duty. So that's good. That's good for Zach Cunningham. He's a veteran. He's been around the block. He's not a bad linebacker. He's got to stay healthy. Now, Maurice Norris and Lauren Strickland, a couple UDFA guys that have been around for a couple years. They're capitalizing on the system because they've been around. Maddox is that safety 3 and nickel cornerback 2. So versatile again. That leaves a safety 4 job open. I just explained it with the linebackers. You know, we got 3 safeties that are usually going to come in. It's obviously going to be Kirby and it's going to be Branch. And then you're going to see guys like Avante Maddox step in every now and then for one of those guys. And then that linebacker 4 seems to be wide open. Now, everyone said it's going to be for sure 7th round pick Dan Jackson out of Georgia. Not so fast. It's still early. They're trying to see players, but he might have some competition. Now, second team defense was Norris and Maddox. They're playing both the safety positions. Maddox went inside to play some nickel cornerback as well. Strickland took the safety spot alongside Norris. And then Norris is expected to take nickel cornerback reps as well. So these guys all got versatility. Maddox, Strickland's mainly a safety, but Maddox, Norris, these guys all have versatility. Dan Jackson somewhere in there. No news really on him. Couldn't find any. So we'll see what happens to him, but he'll show up on the report. The UDFA rookies too, that are making some more splashes. Another safety, Ian Kennelly, who's probably in that safety 4 position. He's another rookie stepping up. Play of the day, apparently, was a 7-on-7 rep. Hooker couldn't find anybody. Hooker rolled to his right, found tight end Kenny Yeboah, threw a pass. Kennelly dove and smacked the ball, made a loud sound. Perfect pass breakup. The sideline went crazy. The local kid, too, he played at Grand Valley State. It was nice to see the Grand Valley State kid open up some eyes. He played safety in college. We'll see more about him coming up, but he's got a ladder to climb, but he's a guy that you keep an eye on. Another UDFA rookie, wide receiver Jackson Meeks, I believe, who was Darius Smith's nephew, I think, and he made a catch he made a catch or two, and then tight end H-back Zach Horton as well. He made a couple catches as well too. Horton is kind of a sleeper tight end 3. Obviously it's Laporta and Brock Wright as 1 and 2, and then there's a couple guys in there. Zylstra. Horton has got 6'4", 250 pounds. He's super athletic. He didn't have eye-popping stats at James Madison as a Duke, but he did have 12 touchdowns in 3 years. So he's got some touchdown ability, to his name. He's a guy to keep an eye on. He might push Shane Zylstra. So we'll see what happens there. And Kenny Yeboah. Whoa. And then special teams. Special teams may have been gone. And the personal protector role, the PP, is kind of open too as well. Linebacker Ezekiel Turner took over that last year when Maben got hurt. First man up was new linebacker Grant Stewart, who was an absolute beast as an Indianapolis Colt at special teams. And it looks like he's kind of taken over so far early, but he was a very, very good special teamer, and that's why Brad Holmes and them got him. A lot of people get upset when they go after guys like Dan Jackson, Grant Stewart, Zach Cunningham. These guys have versatility over the boards. They can play a lot of different positions. I know people get upset. I get upset when they don't get certain players as well. I do. But when you see what they're doing and you read what they're doing and why they're bringing in these guys, Grant Stewart is an important piece who had some decent games as a linebacker too, as well as a Colt. Just never really got in there. He's young, he's a little bit small, but he's a fireball. He's an absolute fireball. And he could get some looks at linebacker this year. Keep an eye on Grant Stewart as well, guys. And I'm not trying to homer this shit up either. I'm really not. You guys know me. If you don't know me, I'm the farthest thing from a homer. But I'm trying to be as genuine as I can. So keep an eye on Grant Stewart. He could turn some heads. He definitely will turn some heads. Now the gunner position, several players kind of ran through this role. When live though, when they were actually punting the ball, it was Amik Robertson rocking with Rock Yassin. See how I did that there? And then also rookie wide receivers Dominic Lovett and Isaac Tesla as well were gunners, burners. Those two guys are burners. Get down as fast as you can, get down to the ball, punt it, make the tackle, down it, whatever you got to go do. That's their job. That's what the gunners do. Then running back, Sione Vaikai, and running back Craig Reynolds. Vaikai being your number 3, and Craig Reynolds being that pretty well, yeah. Reynolds being the number 3, and Vaikai being the number 4. That's what it is right there. They returned as outside wings in the punt block formation, backed up by Maddox and Norris as well. Some versatility guys that run and get down the field as well. More notes. Edge, Nate Lynn, UDFA from last year from William and Mary. He took some first team reps, because Pascal out, everybody out, every D lineman out possible. So Nate Lynn took some first team reps, which is really nice to see. He was actually turning some heads in camp last year. I don't know if he ended up getting hurt and just sticking on the practice squad, but he didn't really get in any games. So he's a guy keep an eye on too as well. He had some pass rush ability at William and Mary. He's a guy that's going to take some time to develop though. And then safety Eric Hallett, he repped the first team D as well, coming in subbing for Kirby Joseph. Hallett was another practice squad player in 2024 and getting a lot of reps over guys like Maddox. Getting not a lot of reps, but getting first dibs over guys like Maddox and guys like Lawrence Strickland and guys like Maurice Norris. So it's not in stone. Nothing's in stone, but first day. Trying to get to see what these guys are about. Jeez, losing my voice. Now, players stepping in for Levi Hooper were also, I already said this, Pat O'Connor, Chris Smith, and Miles Adams. I didn't say anything about Chris Smith and Miles Adams. Already told you about what Pat O'Connor is doing. See, because I'm repeating myself again, but because I kind of jumbled it up. Chris Smith and Miles Adams. Chris Smith's been around for a while. Miles Adams, they picked up last year, who had a couple decent games. The rookie Williams had first dibs, though. He was the first one in there for first team defense. But you keep an eye on guys like O'Connor, obviously, Chris Smith and Miles Adams. They're just trying to see where these guys fit. Okay, you're probably not going to see a lot of Chris Smith during the season, but you just never know. People get hurt. Players go down. Then Khalif Raymond, he's the top punt returner easily. He looks smooth out there. Followed by guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, DJ Reed, and then the infamous Thomas Kennedy. No ball touched the ground apparently on those plays, so good for those guys. Good hands on all these guys right there. So Khalif Raymond's your top punt returner as of right now. And then the Lions, the Lions defense, they experimented with some different looks apparently. They did Amik Robertson was on the outside cornerback and Terrion Arnold moving in the slot on the same side. So trying some different things as well. They did the same thing, I guess, with DJ Reed moving inside, and then Terrion Arnold going back outside and stuff like that. So they were trying different things. They were trying different looks. Remember, Amik Robertson played on the outside last year and absolutely locked down Justin Jefferson. Now, it wasn't just all him doing all that, all by himself, but he did a lot of one-on-one matchups with him in that game, and Sam Darnold didn't know what to do. Sam Darnold didn't know what to do, and he couldn't get him the ball. And Amik made some great plays. Darnold did miss some throws, though, not going to lie, but Amik Robertson played exceptional in that game, and he actually became our cornerback one because Carlton Davis went down. And he had to take over, and that's what happened. Darnold wasn't ready. He was a rookie. He wasn't ready to do that apparently just yet, and they gave it to Amik. Amik, he had some familiarity with Justin Jefferson, and that's all she wrote. Then I guess I'm almost done here, guys. Nose tackle Broderick Martin, who's getting every opportunity. He's a nose tackle, I know. He's not Levi Nuzurike playing his role or anything like that, but this was a guy that was, that Brad Holmes gave up picks to get, multiple picks to draft a couple years back. This is the third year, and he needs to step up. He's a guy that's on the bubble as well. So he had a rep or a couple reps where he was absolutely stonewalled by backup center, third string center, or backup, whatever, Michael Neese. Okay? And he couldn't even move him an inch, apparently. Brock Martin could not even move him an inch. Neese had him locked up. Done. First down. You know what I mean? Ran right by him. Then the next time they came up, he bullied newcomer Tristan Colin and ripped right through him. Bullied him, threw him to the side, whatever he had to do, got inside, made the play, whatever, just won the drill. So it's a guy that's inconsistent. He seems to be healthy this year. He's had some injury problems. He's had some problems getting on the field, staying on the field, not being productive in practice or whatever, not trusting him, not dressing. He's got every opportunity now to make a play, to make plays, plural. So I wasn't a big believer in Broderick Martin. I'm still not rooting against him. I just don't think he's going to make this football team. I just don't. If he shows that he can move guys around, make plays, be where the coaches want him to be, then that's a whole other ball game. But he needs to be consistent. He can't be losing a battle, winning one, losing two, win another one, lose three, win one. He can't do that. So far it's 1-1. It's like, but he's got to be more consistent. He's got to have that drive. Let's see if he does it, man, because I still think that pick was a reach. It's just my opinion. I love Brad Holmes. This is not a Brad Holmes shot. Every GM is going to miss shots. There's no way any GM's batting 1,000 or shooting 100% from the three. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. He's had some misses. It's human. It's human. So that's it. So it's his time now. It's his time, or he's going to be gone, in my opinion. So that's it, guys. That wraps up with that. Not a lot of news on Hutch. Not a crazy news by Amon Ra or anything. He had a couple nice reports on him. Nothing big time on Goff just yet. He looked decent. He looked pretty good, I guess. He was throwing dots. You're not hearing too much about anybody else. No real Davenport news. No Hutch news, like I said. So, it's early. It's day one in the books. 40 minutes plus video. Long one. Sorry, guys. Day 2 tomorrow. I got to get to bed. I'm exhausted because I'm on days. So it's time to bed. It's just time to go. It's just time to go dodos. So, okay, guys. Thanks a lot. Sorry about the late video. This is what it's all about, though. I got it out. So still early, guys. Still early. Nothing in stone just yet. They're trying to get the ball rolling. Let's see what happens with this team, and we'll know more day to day. Okay. So love you guys. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe button at the bottom right. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Boom up top. Don't forget to like, comment, share this out to all your friends and your family. I really appreciate it, guys. Okay. Grit. Hunting season is among us. Let's go. Detroit Lions, baby. Bang. See you tomorrow.